Good morning and welcome to a special Thursday morning edition of EDU 605. I'm your host, Bob Solier, and this is your, oh my goodness, my first lesson plan / special project is due, and I do not know what to do. I have a bazillion questions. Can you please help me? Hopefully that's exactly what this will do. This will provide you with some assistance. So let's start first in Blackboard. Here in Blackboard, we're going to venture to our course. And the first question we have is, well, I don't have any questions about my lesson plan. I get all that. I don't have any problems doing that. Where do I submit my assignment? So underneath course content, which we have over here, we're going to scroll down here to our Module 3. Now, for those of you who are thinking, well, isn't this on online technology? Shouldn't that be over here? Well, I didn't put it over there because I expect these assignments to be turned after you've completed all the material in here. If it makes it easier for you going forward, I am more than happy to stick that inside the actual module itself. But what I want you to do is when you come into a module that you are actually able to kind of progress through in logical order. So the first thing in a module that I want you to do is, well, there's a video. The next thing, of course, that are going to be due are your wikis, so make sure you've submitted your article reviews. We'll do those later. And then our next option over here, we have the actual lesson plan itself. So here is the assignment information. Here are the instructions. Here are the attached files down here. And if you're going to submit your assignment, simply fill out your info. And then, oh, by the way, here's my YouTube or other online video that I've created. Take care of it, make any sort of attachments that you need, and then click the magic submit button. That's how you get your lesson plan into the gradebook, and then I proceed to grade it and make sure that it has everything you need. Now, for those of you who have questions about your lesson plan, this is the most important thing that I can tell you. This is not a gotcha assignment. I'm not looking to trip you up because you didn't use the right magic words or the right magic things. In reality, every single school system has a different approach to how these things are done and what they require you to do and what they're looking for. What the Department of Education here at the university has done is they provided a list of resources, and my job is to make sure that I don't frustrate you any more than I have to. Some of you are well along in this program. Some of you are new to this program. Some of you have been working with the University of St. Francis since your undergraduate degree, and so my job is not to make you feel like I'm trying to rebel against everything it is that they're teaching or doing in other classes. So if other classes are having you use a lesson plan format, then go ahead and use that one. If your school system is having you use a lesson plan format, then go ahead and use that one. I'm indifferent as far as to what you do. The important thing is to have a very concrete plan. So Bob, where did you get your plans? An excellent question. If you've ever actually visited our MicroConnection site, which is available through sf.edu, there's kind of all those quick links. There's an entire section called Campus Life. And underneath Campus Life, there's this area called Campus Groups. And so when you're like, well, I want to find a campus group, this is kind of their way to get involved, those sorts of things. But if you click over here in Campus Groups, and you click Browse Groups, the very first one available is all education majors. That's everybody. And inside the all education majors are a list of all these resources that the fine folks in the Department of Education here have provided for you. So where did Bob pull out his lesson plan documents? They came right from here. They're not anything that I've created. These are the ones that, at least at the time of posting, that the department here said that this is what they're using. Now, they may have changed. They're real people. They're not always good with keeping their stuff up to date. And so even the question of, well, how do I find the IDPS standards? Well, I think the names have probably even changed since then. But if you look over here, here's this whole section of IDPS standards, all of those things. Here's the interesting thing about that. Let's go ahead and click one of these. Well, you click those. It takes you over here to the fine Indiana Department website. And what do you find? Thank you, Mr. Dr. Tony Bennett. Nothing. So it's because they've changed those links, they've changed where they're available, and our folks over here haven't kept up with this. So where do I find those things? Well, if you go to the Indiana Department of Education website and search for standards, you can find all the supporting student access standards. So if your subject is going to be social studies and your grade, is 8, or you're going to do something different. I'm not really going to do the 8th grade. I'm going to do something else. You can find all those standards over here. So use this site to go ahead and come up with your standards. There's a much other larger libraries for those sorts of things, but if you're looking for your standards, this is the place to go. So whatever Indiana is calling their standards today, this is the website you're going to want to use to go ahead and make sure you're aligned to it. Once you're done, put all those things inside your lesson plan. What am I looking for in your lesson plan? Basically, just a demonstration of the concrete approach to, I have a content area and I'm going to integrate, at least for this lesson plan, an online technology to that. It's got to be more than just, I need to fill 5 minutes, so I'm going to show a YouTube video. Now, that doesn't mean that there aren't YouTube videos that are important for your class, but don't simply include technology for including technology's sake. That's kind of the whole point of this class, is to make you think of, there are a lot of great online things out there. And online is more than just online video. We are talking online, our websites, resources. It could be, bringing in a, special presenter that you're accessing online. It's getting you to start to think and process, how can I intelligently and effectively incorporate whatever technology we're talking about or reading about into my content, into my lesson plan. All that's well and good. You've gone through this process. You've come up with a lesson plan. You've made sure your lesson is aligned to standards. You include technology to make sure that those meet those standards and objectives. But if you never stop to measure those things, well, then you're kind of missing the boat. How do you know that using that website or that online resource was effective unless you evaluate it? And so that's why you're including a rubric. Keep in mind, you're not actually going to be filling out these rubrics. Because you don't have actual students using this actual resource in an actual lesson, so you can't actually evaluate that. But what tool would you use? What are your criteria? In order for me to know that this website or this video or this online technology was effective, these are the things that I'm looking for, and these are my measurements of whether or not it's effective. Again, part of education is making sure that you're evaluating those. And it's what I do even for this class, and why this class continues to evolve every single semester. And it even evolves in the middle of the semester, because we might be changing some things as we kind of roll along. But you've always got to be looking at your technology and saying, is this the best technology, and is it meeting what I need it to do? So that's why you have the rubric. And the last thing you're going to include is your backup plan. So here you are, you've got a room full of 30 fifth graders, and you're getting ready to use something online, and you go there, and all of a sudden, guess what? Your online technology isn't accessible. Well, what do? You can't cancel social studies for the day. You've still got to be able to move through, and you got to make sure you get the content. So what's your backup plan? And your backup plan should not be a rewrite of your entire lesson. It should be, how can I replace that bit of content with something else? Well, if this website is down, then I'm going to go ahead and we're going to read this short story, or, I've printed off the pertinent information so that in the event that I still need to access that information, we can, or I've turned those into a PowerPoint presentation, or I've got them, in transparencies to use on an overhead projector, whatever it is. So make sure you're doing that as well. To alleviate some of your stress, go ahead and turn this in as late as tomorrow. Take an extra day if you want to just go through and work. It's not, to me, things like grades and deadlines are arbitrary. At the end of the day, I want to make sure you're getting the content. I want to make sure you know how to do this, and you're thinking through it thoughtfully. That's the whole entire point of this course, is how can I get over my fear of technology, and how can I thoughtfully think through incorporating technology into my education. Lastly, we had a question about, talk to me about, the standards for this course. Well, the standards for this course, a lot of them, again, are based upon the sort of licensure requirements that we have, and most of the standards that this class aligns to comes to the idea of computer education. So again, from our lovely Department of Indiana site, here are all the Indiana content standards for educators, and 95% of the stuff that happens in this class relates to this document. Again, things like hardware and software resources, use of technology, computer-based learning, we don't do any computer programming. Again, social, ethical, legal, human issues, instruction, and assessment. And so if you go through these, you can very clearly start to see how, the different assignments that we have, and the different readings in our books, and the different supplemental readings and videos that we have seek to address these content standards, to go ahead and use those. So if you have any question about those, feel free to let me know, and hopefully this will help clear up some things for you. Your videos have been great so far. Thank you for sharing those, and hopefully you are progressing well through the reading of materials for online software, or software in general, rather. Have a great day.